Turning 70 is not what I expected. It's not a finish line, and it's definitely not a slow fade into the background. In fact, it feels more like arriving at a place no one warned me about, where the rules have changed, but no one bothered to tell me how. There's no handbook, no orientation meeting, just this moment, right now, where you suddenly realize you're living in a world that treats you differently, but inside, you still feel like you. If you're over 70, or even just getting close, this video is for you. And if you're younger, trust me, you're going to want to hear this now, not later. I'm about to share 12 raw and deeply honest truths about life after 70. Not the cheerful brochure version, not the shallow cliches. These are the things no one tells you. The beautiful, the painful, the unexpected, and the powerful. I've lived through every one of these, and maybe you have too. So I hope you'll stay with me until the very end, not just to nod along, but to feel seen, understood, and maybe even a little more hopeful about what's still ahead. And hey, if something in here resonates with you, leave me a comment and tell me about it. I'd love to hear what surprised you most about aging. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We talk about all the things no one says out loud, and we do it with heart. Now let's talk about the real stuff, the 12 truths no one tells you about turning 70, but you deserve to know. 1. Freedom hits differently. After 70. Here's the thing no one tells you. Turning 70 gives you a kind of freedom that feels different from anything you've experienced before. Not because someone handed you more time or more money, but because for the first time in your life, you truly stop asking for permission to just be you. In your younger years, freedom often meant chasing something, a degree, a career, raising kids, hitting milestones. You were always moving, always striving, always proving. But after 70, freedom becomes something quieter, deeper. It's the freedom to stop performing, to stop explaining yourself, to say no without guilt, to spend a whole day reading a book, digging in your garden, or sitting in silence, and to feel good about it, not lazy. It's the freedom to dress how you want, speak how you feel, and surround yourself only with people who nourish your soul. You no longer bend yourself into shapes to make others comfortable. You stop living by someone else's expectations and start living by your own values. And the best part? You no longer need anyone's approval to do it. That kind of freedom is sacred. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It gives you your time back. It gives you your peace back. It reminds you that the years ahead may be fewer, but they're yours, and you get to live them on your own terms. If you've reached this stage, celebrate it. You earned this freedom. Don't waste a minute of it apologizing. 2. Small joys equal big happiness. When you're younger, happiness feels like it lives in the big stuff. Promotions, weddings, vacations, those once-in-a-while moments where everything feels picture perfect. But after 70, happiness begins to shift. It no longer hides in the big, loud events. It moves into the quiet corners of everyday life. It's in the first sip of hot coffee in the morning, while the world is still waking up. It's in the sound of birds outside your window. It's in a handwritten card from your granddaughter, or a laugh shared with an old friend over nothing in particular. It's in sitting on your porch and feeling the sun on your face. It's in cooking something from scratch, not because you have to, but because you want to, and it brings back memories. These moments don't show up in photo albums. They're not flashy, but they are real, and they're what your heart starts to crave more and more. The truth is, life moves slower after 70, and that's exactly what allows you to notice the things you used to miss. You're not rushing to the next thing anymore. You're present. You're paying attention. And because of that, small joys become magnified. It's like tasting something for the first time all over again, but with the wisdom to know just how precious it is. So if today felt simple and calm and full of little things that made you smile, then today was a beautiful day. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. 3. Time becomes a treasure and a challenge. There's something strange that happens after 70. Time starts to feel different. Not just faster, but louder. You begin to feel it in ways you didn't before. The seasons seem to change quicker. Another birthday arrives before you've finished writing thank you notes from the last one. You wake up one morning and it hits you. Time is no longer just passing. It's speaking to you. And what it says is this: pay attention. Time becomes both a gift and a challenge. On one hand, you treasure it more deeply than ever. You no longer waste hours with people who drain you. You no longer say yes to things that don't bring peace or meaning. Every day feels more personal, every conversation more sacred. But on the other hand, there's this quiet urgency, that little list in the back of your mind of things you still want to do. Visit a place, mend a relationship, learn something new. It can feel overwhelming if you let it. But here's the truth. You don't need to do it all. You just need to do what matters to you. Not to impress anyone, not to check off someone else's bucket list, just to make each day feel yours. So take your time seriously, but don't let it scare you. Let it guide you. Let it remind you to choose with intention, to stay present, to savor the hour in front of you. Because time, now more than ever, is a treasure you get to spend however you choose. 4. Your legacy starts speaking to you. Something unexpected happens in your 70s. You start hearing the quiet voice of your legacy. It's not about your bank account or the size of your house or how many things you leave behind. It's about how you made people feel, how you showed up in their lives, what kind of stories they'll tell when your name comes up. You think about the wisdom you've passed on, the values, the laughter, the moments you stopped what you were doing just to be fully present with someone. You remember conversations that seemed small at the time, but now feel sacred. Legacy is not about being famous. It's about being remembered with love. And you start to wonder, did I say I love you enough? Did I help when I could? Did I live in a way that made someone else's life better? These thoughts aren't meant to haunt you. They're meant to ground you. Because here's the most beautiful part. Your legacy is still being written. Every kind word, every moment of forgiveness, every gesture of courage or honesty, it all matters. You don't have to do something huge to leave something meaningful behind. You just have to live in a way that reflects your heart. And at 70 and beyond, your heart is wiser than ever. 5. Family isn't what you thought it'd be. No one quite prepares you for how family changes after 70. You're still a parent, maybe even a grandparent, but your role starts to shift. You become the elder, the witness, the one everyone looks to, not just for advice, but for calm, for consistency, for presence. Sometimes that's a joy. Watching your grandchildren grow up, seeing little glimpses of yourself in them, it's magic. But sometimes it's lonely. The house is quieter. Your grown children are busy with lives of their own. Phone calls become less frequent. Holidays feel different. And then there are the hard truths. Maybe someone you love drifts away. Maybe old wounds resurface. Maybe family doesn't look like you imagined it would. But here's the thing. Family isn't just who shares your DNA. At this age, you start to realize that family is about connection, about love, about who shows up for you when it matters. Sometimes that's your son. Sometimes it's your neighbor, or your best friend from church, or the woman who always sits near you in the coffee shop and remembers how you take your tea. Don't be afraid to redefine family. The people who feel like home to you, they count, and you're allowed to invest your time and love where it feels returned. Because at this stage, love isn't about duty, it's about choice. 6. Your health becomes your full-time job. After 70, you start realizing that staying healthy isn't just about avoiding sickness. It's about maintaining your life. The little routines you used to ignore now feel urgent. The checkups, the medications, the doctor visits, they're no longer optional. They're survival. But this isn't about fear. It's about ownership, because your health, both physical and mental, becomes the foundation for everything else you want to do. Want to travel? Want to play with your grandkids? Want to spend a quiet afternoon in the garden without your back aching for days after? It all starts here. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to run marathons or juice every vegetable in sight. But you do need to listen to your body, respect its limits, move it, rest it, feed it well, and most of all, forgive it. There are days when your energy will feel low, or your joints will ache, or your memory won't cooperate. That doesn't mean you're failing. It just means your body is doing its best with the years it's carried. And mental health? That matters too. Don't let loneliness or sadness go unchecked. Talk to someone. Reach out. Take care of your spirit the same way you care for your body. You only get one vessel in this life. Treat it with the care and kindness it's always deserved. 7. You learn to protect your energy. In your younger years, energy feels endless. You say yes to everything, to invitations, to obligations, to problems that aren't even yours. You give your time to people who don't appreciate it, your attention to things that don't matter, and your peace of mind to worries that never actually come true. But after 70, something shifts. Your energy becomes sacred. It's not just about having less stamina. It's about finally understanding how valuable your attention and presence truly are. You begin to notice how certain things leave you feeling drained, while others fill you up. And for the first time, you actually listen to that feeling. You stop chasing after every phone call. You don't force yourself into conversations that feel performative. You say no to events that feel more like obligations than joy. And most importantly, you stop explaining why. Because you've learned that honoring your energy doesn't require permission. Some people might not understand. They might call you distant or different. But here's the truth. You're not withdrawing. You're protecting the most vital parts of yourself. You realize that peace isn't just nice. It's necessary. That being alone doesn't mean being lonely. And that choosing calm over chaos is one of the kindest things you can do for your body, your mind, and your heart. And when you begin protecting your energy, truly guarding it like the treasure it is, you make room for the things that really matter, like slow mornings, deep talks, walks in nature, real laughter, meaningful connection. Protecting your energy at this age doesn't mean shutting the world out. It means welcoming in only what nourishes you. It's not selfish, it's wise, it's essential, and it's one of the most powerful forms of self-respect there is. 8. The mirror becomes kinder. There was a time, maybe in your 30s or 40s, when the mirror felt like a critic. Every glance seemed to point out something wrong. A wrinkle, a bulge, a gray hair that arrived uninvited. And let's be honest, society didn't help. The magazines, the commercials, the anti-aging creams, all telling you that growing older was something to fight. But something begins to shift in your 70s. You walk past a mirror one morning expecting that old habit, the judgment, the picking apart. But instead, you pause. And for the first time in a long time, you just look. Not with criticism, not with shame, but with recognition. That's you in there. A face that has lived, eyes that have seen heartbreak and joy, hands that have held babies, buried loved ones, cooked meals, wiped tears, a body that has carried you through decades of laughter, loss, late nights, long days, and everything in between. The wrinkles don't feel like flaws anymore. They feel like memories, like proof that you've felt your life, not just existed in it. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you catch a glimpse of someone you loved in your own reflection. Your mother's smile, your father's brow, a softness around the eyes that reminds you of a sister or a friend long gone. It's comforting. It's beautiful. It's legacy staring right back at you. You stop worrying about looking young and start appreciating looking real. Because beauty at 70 is no longer about symmetry or smoothness. It's about presence, about depth, about the light that comes through when you laugh from your belly or speak from your heart. And what's most surprising, the mirror, once an enemy, becomes an old friend, one that reminds you not of what you've lost, but of all that you've lived. And somehow, that reflection becomes something to be proud of. 9. Friendships evolve and get real. Friendship looks very different after 70. In earlier stages of life, your social world might have felt huge. You met people through work, your children's activities, your neighborhood, your hobbies. Some friendships came easily, built on shared routines or convenience, birthday parties, potlucks, team meetings. There was always someone around. But time has a way of revealing what's real. By 70, the social circle gets smaller. And honestly, that's not a loss. It's a blessing. Because what's left are the true connections. The people who've stood the test of time, who showed up when things fell apart, who celebrated the highs, but also sat with you through the lows. You're no longer interested in small talk. You crave depth. You talk about real things, memories, regrets, joys, grief. There's less performance, more presence, less "how are you?" and more "I've been thinking about you." But with that richness comes a quiet grief. You've likely had to say goodbye to dear friends, maybe more than a few. Some moved away, some drifted, some are no longer here. That kind of loss lives deep in the heart. You don't just miss their voice. You miss being known by someone who saw you across decades. And yet, you keep reaching out. Because now you understand something younger people often don't. Friendship isn't just a luxury. It's a lifeline. You learn that relationships don't maintain themselves. You call even when it's been too long. You send the card. You extend the invitation. Not because it's easy, but because it matters. And sometimes, beautifully, you form new connections in unexpected places. At the library, at church, through your walking group, or the woman who always smiles at you at the market. You become more open, more generous, because you know time is limited and love is still worth the risk. After 70, friendship becomes less about quantity, more about soul. It's the comfort of being seen without explanation, the safety of being accepted as you are. And if you have even one friend like that in your life, you are already incredibly blessed. 10. You slow down, and that's a blessing. There's a moment, sometimes quiet, sometimes sudden, when you realize you don't have to rush anymore. The pace you kept for decades begins to soften. You no longer live by calendars packed with deadlines, carpools, meetings, and noise. Life after 70 gives you something rare and precious, the chance to slow down and actually enjoy it. At first, it might feel strange, even uncomfortable. You're so used to being busy that slowing down can feel like standing still. But then, something beautiful happens. You start to notice things you never had time to see before. The way the light filters through your kitchen window in the morning, the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands, the way your grandchild looks at you when you're not saying a word, just listening. You begin to measure your days not by how much you got done, but by how much you felt, how present you were, how connected, how at peace. The world doesn't celebrate slowing down. It still pushes productivity, hustle, urgency, but you've lived long enough to know that constant motion doesn't equal meaning. And truthfully, some of the richest moments in life are found in stillness. That afternoon nap with a soft breeze coming through the window? That quiet walk where you stop to admire the blooming flowers? That slow, unrushed phone call with an old friend? Those are the new milestones, the ones that matter now. Slowing down doesn't mean fading away. It means coming back to yourself. It's a kind of freedom younger people don't yet understand. The permission to breathe deeper, move slower, and live fully without needing to prove a thing. So no, you're not behind. You're right where you're meant to be. And in this slower pace, you just might discover more of life than you ever did when you were rushing through it. 11. You stop caring what others think. There's a freedom that only comes with age, and it doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in slowly, quietly, over the years. And then one day, you realize you've stopped caring so much about what other people think. In your younger years, you spent so much energy trying to meet expectations. You dressed a certain way, said the polite thing, smiled when you didn't feel like smiling. You second-guessed yourself constantly. You edited who you were to fit in, to please, to avoid judgment. But after 70, that weight starts to lift. And let me tell you, it feels amazing. You start making choices for yourself. You wear what makes you feel beautiful, not what fashion says is appropriate. You say no to things that don't feel right, and yes to things that light you up, even if someone raises an eyebrow. You stop feeling obligated to explain your life to anyone who doesn't live it with you. You learn that most people's opinions are fleeting and often rooted in their own insecurities, not your truth. And the best part? The less you care about being liked by everyone, the more you attract people who truly see you, the real you, not the version you've carefully crafted, but the one that's been waiting to come out and breathe freely. Of course, there are still moments, maybe at family gatherings or around certain people, when the old people-pleaser in you stirs. That's okay. But now, you notice it, and you choose differently, because you know something younger folks haven't quite figured out yet. Peace is worth more than approval, and authenticity is worth more than acceptance. You've earned the right to be fully yourself, bold, soft, loud, quiet, colorful, plain, whatever you are. And if someone doesn't like it, that's perfectly okay. They'll survive. And more importantly, so will you. 12. You're still you, even if the world forgets. There's a quiet truth that settles in after 70. The world starts to look at you differently. People speak a little louder when they talk to you. They assume you've slowed down. They might even act surprised when you share a new idea, a dream, or something you still want to do, as if passion and curiosity somehow expired the moment you hit a certain number. And over time, that message, spoken or unspoken, can start to seep in. You start to wonder, have I become invisible? But here's what I need you to hear, clearly and fully. You're still you. That same spark that danced in you at 20 is still glowing. Maybe softer, maybe steadier, but just as alive. You still have dreams, desires, ideas, humor. You still light up when someone really listens to you. You still crave adventure, even if it looks different now. Yes, your body may have changed. Yes, some memories may come and go, but your soul, that unshakable part of you, it's timeless. The world may not always see it, but you can. And the people who truly know you, they see it too. You are not defined by how fast you move, how many birthdays you've had, or whether someone half your age understands you. You are defined by how you love, by how you show up, by the quiet strength you carry from a lifetime of showing up, even when it was hard. And when you live from that truth, something powerful happens. You begin to shine, not in the way that demands attention, but in the way that radiates meaning, in the way that quietly reminds others that aging isn't about disappearing. It's about deepening, rooting, becoming more fully yourself. So no, you are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are here, and you are still and always you. If you're still here with me, first, thank you. It means the world that you've taken the time to reflect on these 12 truths. Not just listen, but feel them. Because the truth is, aging doesn't come with a map. Most of us are figuring it out as we go, quietly, sometimes painfully, often beautifully. And if no one has told you lately, I want you to know this: you are not alone. Your experiences, your questions, your joys, your grief, they are real and they are shared. Maybe you saw yourself in just one of these stories, or maybe all 12. Either way, I hope this reminded you of something important, that your life right now is still rich with purpose, with possibility, with love. This chapter is not about fading away. It's about becoming more grounded, more honest, more you than ever before. And that deserves to be honored. If this video touched something in your heart, I invite you to leave a comment below. Tell me what resonated most. What made you pause? What you've learned about life after 70 that no one prepared you for. If you'd like to stay connected, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Elders Insight. This space is for you, a place for truth, warmth, and real conversations that matter. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You've come a long way, and there's still so much left to become.